Coaches, I'm fired up to share with you today the story of our 2025 state championship, spearheaded by our use of dime defense in the playoffs. Personnel groupings are a big part of modern day football, and we've tried to capture some of that even on the small school scale of six-man football. We have three personnel groupings. We have regular, which we primarily use against tight offenses. It's got two true D linemen, one linebacker, and three DBs. We play most of the season in our nickel personnel, which is identical except for we take out the D lineman and we put two rush players in the game. Still three DBs, still one linebacker. But in the playoffs of this year, we busted out a new grouping called dime. Four DBs, one rush player, one linebacker. Now, this is a big change of events for us. We are built around stopping the run. That's what we believe in. That's what everything about our defense is based around. But we have found ourselves going all the way back to 2014. Although we're having a lot of success in the regular season, you get into the playoffs and you play these elite passing teams, and sometimes we were taken advantage of. I think all the way back to the Reign in 2015. I think about our first state championship loss in 2022. I think back to a semifinal upset that we were the victim of in 2023. Even when we won the whole dang thing in 2024, we had to beat a great passing team in the championship game. And going back to this past season, we lost our first regular season game in who knows how long to a team that was going to air it all over the yard. And as we were going into this past year of playoffs, it felt like history was going to repeat itself again. We got into the semifinals. We're playing an elite offense that likes to spread the ball around. We get by them, and we're playing a team in the championship game that throws it down the field better than the team from the semifinals. So we find ourselves in this unique situation. Are we going to sacrifice our core values of stopping the run in order to give ourselves a chance to stop the pass? That seems like a no-brainer, but when stopping the run is built into how you structure everything, how you teach the defense, this isn't as easy as just putting a whole bunch of guys deep and praying that you're going to stop the pass. The reality of modern day football is that you have to be able to adapt to the trends that you see in your opponents, but that's not necessarily unique to the world of six-man football.
Sitting there thinking that football has become a pass-first game now, and you're right. It has become a pass-first game. So why is Coach Smart talking about the foundations of Georgia run defense if football is a pass-first game? The better you're at stopping the run, the more guys you can commit to the pass. That's why it matters. So a lot of people don't understand this, and they don't follow it. But the better you can stop the run, the more guys you can commit to stopping the pass, which for us is big. We want to be able to do that, all right?
Now, what Coach Kirby Smart is discussing there has been playing out in the world of college football for years. I think back to the first time I was exposed to this idea was watching Iowa State and their three safety defense, and I thought it was so cool. I love running it on College Football 25 and 26. It's something that even Ohio State used selectively in their own playoff run. But what all of these defenses have in common is their willingness to subtract a player from traditional run positions to get them out of the box to give themselves stronger protection in the pass game. Another important point that I hope to illustrate in this video is that we're not simply abandoning all hope of stopping the run. What we are doing, though, is that we have to be a little creative in getting unblocked players to the run game. We also have to be really intelligent with making sure we've got the right players in the box that can maybe beat a block or draw two blockers to himself. So we're not just giving up on the run. We are emphasizing stopping the pass of our positioning, and then we're getting a little tricky with how we're going to stop the run game. I'm excited to get into the run game. But first, let's go jump on the whiteboard, talk through some of our base alignments and coverages that we ran out of our dime defense.
Coach, welcome to the dojo. Before we get into the dime defensive look, I want to quickly talk through what we do as sort of our base alignment. We are a one high safety, primarily defense, okay? Now, whether you want to call it a 2-1-3, you want to call it a 2-3-1, honestly, for us, it's 3 DBs. It's 2 rushmen, we'll call them D linemen for the sake of our conversation right now, and it's 1 linebacker. That's our base look. I have it drawn up versus a 3 receiver set here, but we run it versus diamond. We really run it against tight. This is sort of our home base, what we run the majority of the season. Now, like I shared earlier, we've run into some pass-heavy teams, and we've maybe had some success. We've had some struggles. Maybe it's primarily had to do with the quality of the teams. But regardless, we wanted more ammunition to be able to defend these pass-heavy, well-executing teams. And our solution to that was, well, what if we were able to play with 2 high safeties, still have 2 corners at defensive back, and then make it work in the box however we're going to do that. And that is through problem solving, through a little bit of creativity. That's what we came to. Okay. Now the way that we did that is we essentially took out 1 defensive lineman and we played with a second high safety that we called a robber. We had a robber and a free. Now this made sense for us. When we were an 11-man team, we played primarily 2 high defense. Me as a defensive coach, I'm sort of used to, I come from a quarters background, I come from a cover 4 background, and that's just kind of what I'm used to. So we found a way to sort of try and meld these 2 concepts that we already teach in 6-man, things that we used to teach in 11-man together, and this is what we came up with. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out as you look at this, we're giving up something in the run game, but some of our coverages, some of our run fitting tries to help mitigate that offensive advantage. But let's get to that in a little bit. I think that's going to come through really well on film. What I want to talk about for this whiteboard session is the coverage menu that we had out of our dime look. We have 4 DBs, and this isn't necessarily earth-shattering, but really what we did is that we found, I believe it's 3, maybe 4 ways to play 2 under and 2 deep coverage, what we call our cover 2. If you've seen my basketball on grass video, it's really those same concepts. We found a way to run out of this look, okay? But first, let's talk alignment. To start, the corners are at a 6 to 8 yard depth, okay? Kind of player dependent, ability dependent, but they are off the ball. They are giving cushion to where they could be on top of number 1, depending on the call. The safeties, on the other hand, right, the robber and the free, these players are at more of a 10 to 12 yard deep alignment, right? Remember, we're in this to stop the pass. And the first way that we wanted to do that is that we want to be able to play on top of routes. We do not want to get beat deep. And the way to do that, okay, if the other guy is better than you, is to line up deep enough to where you can accomplish that mission, right? So we've got, and really, we're not trying to create this 4 across umbrella, but we want the offense to line up, see our defensive secondary alignment and say, whoo, it's going to be hard to throw the ball over the top on these guys. I guess we got to run the ball, right? And then once again, I'm going to show you ways that we try to help with that. So this is how we start. Now, the next portion of this, as I mentioned earlier, how are we going to get to our cover 2 concepts out of this look? And you're probably already starting to connect some dots. We had 3 different calls. We had sky, we had cloud, I'm gonna draw it right here in the middle, I'll draw it over here, and we had rock and roll. 3 to 4 different ways where we could get to cover 2 concepts. Okay, so to start here, let's talk about our double sky. If you have an 11-man background, you've probably heard these words sky and cloud before, and it's typically used to say who is the force player. Sky starts with an S, so we're saying the safety is the force player. I'm sort of starting to get into our run fitting as well. So if the call is double sky, we are going to have both of our 10 to 12 yard deep safeties. They are just going to take 1 step forward, and for the most part, they're flat-footed players. They are responsible for these under halves. Whereas on the other side, how are we going to cover the deep pass? We're going to take our corners, and on double sky, I know the safety is down because it's sky, starts with an S, so I need to be the deep half player. As you can imagine, what if we play double cloud? Well, cloud starts with a C. It's cloud, so we know who the force player is. It's going to be the corner, okay? So if we're in a cloud look, the corner, on this one, there might be a little bit of creeping towards the line of scrimmage, but snap of the ball, this corner is going to be playing what we call a trap technique or a cloud technique, and they are responsible to be the outside fitter on run, and they are also responsible for this under half. Same thing's happening over here on double cloud. Corner's creeping down, and he is the under half player. Well, now with our safeties 10 to 12 yards deep, they're already in great position to just play a slow pedal and to be on top of everything, playing with zone eyes, trading routes off back and forth across to one another, right? Now, the fun thing about this defense is that it's very easy to disguise, right? It's very subtle on whether we're in cloud, whether we are in sky. It's a little bit more difficult to disguise in our regular one high look. We do it, but at the end of the day, about a second before the ball snap, you know which one we're in. In our dime defense, much more difficult, right? We've got this static two high shell, and the theory is you don't know who the force player is, you don't know who's responsible for the flat or that under half, and it just gives us a little bit of an advantage in being more deceptive, right? Being less of a stationary target for these really talented spread offenses. And our last look here is what we call rock and roll. Rock and roll. And really what these are is that these are strong and weak rotations. With rock being strong, I'll write that up, you'll be able to see this. Rock equals strong, and roll equals weak. So that is telling us which way we're going to spin. Let me show you. Let's say the call is rock. So we are going to rotate to the strength of the formation. This look that I have up here on the board, there are two receivers over here, there are one over here. So this would be a strong left call for the defense. So on rock, we are going to play sky to the strength. So the free is going to be down to be this under half. The corner is going to be on their deep half bail. But over here on the weak side, we're going to be playing a cloud technique. So the corner will be down for his under half, and the rover will be playing his deep half. Once again, well, why do you call rock and roll versus double sky, double cloud? That's a complicated answer. And really what that is that is an hour-long conversation on a Saturday and Sunday afternoon, maybe a Monday after practice, as we're game planning for our opponent. We're looking at their formations. We're saying, okay, I think double sky is better because they like this route, or this is their favorite combination. Or we might say, well, on third and long, they're going to maybe play some double exchange stuff. Maybe we want the free and the rover to be responsible if they beat our rush. You name it, okay? But that's sort of the art of the coaching, is figuring out which call fits what situation the best. And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's quickly talk roll. So that was rock. Rock is strong rotation, roll is weak rotation. If you follow the same logic, the strength is to the left. Roll tells us that we are going to play sky to the weak side, and we're going to play cloud to the strong side. So now all of a sudden, we've got a lot of options. We can now be a little bit more flexible. We can adjust our calls based on what you like, okay? And really, at the end of the day, dime is built around giving us a better chance against the pass. You're better at running your concepts than we are at defending them, right? We spend a lot of time on run fitting. We spend a lot of time on sort of our normal defensive coverage fits against second exchanges where we're getting a good rush, we're trying to force dumps. That's what we're comfortable doing. If you're a great pass first team, you're better at it than we are at defending it. So we got to give ourselves an advantage. We got to play with a bunch of DBs on the field to give ourselves a chance against your pass looks. And schematically, this is way more flexible than our normal defense. But, as I've alluded to, the run game. So you're telling me that you're going to stop the run with one D lineman and one linebacker, right? That's where I actually really enjoy coaching this defense, and I think the video will be better for this on how we use that sky player, how we use that cloud player, even how we play these guys. We did it a couple of different ways, okay? So why don't we go back into the other dojo.
All right, guys. Well, this is fun. I haven't done this in a while, but it's dime defense. Coach, you telling me that you run this to stop the pass? Well, here's 15 clips of us defending the pass in our semifinal and state championship game. Okay, so right off the bat, why don't we look at alignment here? Now, you can see we've got this 4 DB shell. We've got our 1 rush player and our 1 middle linebacker. Now, I remind you sort of our base rules is the corners are at that 6 to 7 yard depth. The safeties are at their 10 to 12 yard depth. One note on our corners, this kid really struggled with disguising. Now, you're going to see in both the pass clips and the run clips that he made an unbelievable amount of plays against the run and the pass. And our guy over here, really good player. He's going to be a tremendous player his junior and senior year, but he's a little bit better at being disciplined with his alignments. And you can even see with our safeties, like one is at 12, one is at 11. You know, here on the Coach Tarp YouTube channel, I like to live in the real world. We teach certain alignments. You know, we give kids, you know, hey, if that receiver is faster than you, be a little bit deeper. If you feel like you can handle him, you can be more at 10. But also sometimes kids get undisciplined and are off on their alignment a little bit, just being honest. But you can see the vision of what we're going for here. Okay. And I can see over here, our first coverage is rock. So we've got a strong left call. So we're going to see this left safety come down into his sky technique. And we're going to see this weak side corner be in his cloud technique. Let's check it out. And this ability right here to play this under half from depth so that we can match a deep crossing route but still being able to get to the dump game is one of the things that really gives this defense an advantage for us. In our normal defense, this guy would be much shallower and these routes would be open, tough to complete at times, but open behind him. Okay, couple of thoughts here. So probably the number one thing that we struggled with in the semifinal game, which is what we're looking at right now, is our deep half players still need to pass routes off. So I believe we just get a straight up big post from number 1 on the bottom of the screen, right? He's crossing the field. In a perfect world, this corner trades it off to our safety who's playing his top half, and our corner's able to come off and be in a position to defend this deep over route. Now, that doesn't happen. I've got better clips later, and we worked on that a lot going into the state championship game. We identified this as a problem that would hurt us if we did not fix it. But it didn't work out that way, and then we get to use our clothesline technique that the DBs work on every day in Indy. Not really. This poor kid dang near gets decapitated. I'm sorry that happened, that we don't teach that. But deep balls, weird stuff happens. You can see the vision on a lot of things we're talking about there. I don't think we need the end zone for that one. Okay, so we got another rock call. So we've got this strong side safety playing his sky technique. It actually looks like it's about the same concept from our opponent here. We got the deep cross, the post. And because we are playing depth in our under half from our sky technique, right? Our alignment here is exactly at 10 yards. Our weak side safety's at, 9.5. I don't love that. But because of his depth, he is able to be in a position that if they throw this 1 yard dump pass, we can be there and try and make a play. But now if you try and throw it over my head on this 15-yard route, because I'm still at 8-9, I can backpedal B long and break it up. And even if the quarterback just throws the perfect ball and sneaks it over us, look at our deep half corner. He's right here, right? We're not going to give up explosives on this. You can see the safety does a better job on this one, identifying that he no longer has a threat in his deep half. So he still needs to climb and find the crosser. That's much better on this kid's part. Awesome play. I'm standing right there. I can't believe this kid goes Mr. Incredible. Look at that air time. Air Jordan, question mark. Let's see if we find anything from this angle. We got some good cloud clips coming, but you can see the corners on their cloud technique. They're kind of creeping in on the snap, looking for a run threat, a flat threat, and you can even see this corner's eyes on his cloud technique. He sees its pass. He looks to identify if there's any threats behind him, gets a little depth, moving with the ball. Didn't need him on this play. Man, that's a great play. Keep it rolling. Okay, full disclosure. The teams we play watch these videos. This is not rock, roll, double sky, or double cloud. This is a game plan call that I'd rather not tell y'all what it is, but you can see some of the same techniques. We got a cloud over here, and then we're playing it a little bit differently over here, but it's going to turn into 2 under, 3 deep. And that's all I'd really like to say about that. Let's watch the clip. You can imagine with it being 3 under, 2 deep, this is a nice, safe call. Our middle of the field safety sort of identifies that he doesn't have a deep middle threat and kind of nails down on that intermediate threat. See our weak side safeties over here on his deep third. And we've got our cloud corner creeping down, takes away the hitch. And he is in position to be around when they throw that dump pass. Once again, why do pass first teams beat us? They beat us down the field, right? We still want to make them execute, throw 1-2 yard routes, and we've got guys in position to tackle the ball. But part of playing the dime defense is that it gave us much more coverage on top, right? You were not going to beat us deep. Okay, we've got our first roll clip here. So we can see this is a strong right. They have 2 players into the boundary. So we should see, yep, and we do see it here. This weak side safety is the sky player. And we really told them to be almost flat-footed, right? We did not want to buzz down really hard and get to 4 to 5 yards. We wanted to be at that 10-yard depth, which he is here. Actually, he's at like an 11 or 12-yard depth. And we just wanted to be in slow motion coming downhill. Trust the corner's got it behind you, but you are the force player and you are the under half player. Great effort by our Mike. You can see here he trusts that the corner's got the on top. He's here for the intermediate route. You can see here on the weak side, our cloud corner. Slightly better job by him disguising. He's holding that 5 to 6, 7 yard alignment. Snap of the ball. He's kind of taking a step down, identifying a run threat or a flat threat. All right, he does not have either, so he kind of sinks in his zone here to make these intermediate routes even more difficult. And now they throw a dump pass. He's in position. He's going to make these plays a lot on the video we're going to watch today. Misses this one, misses with his head outside, which is good, right? He is the force player. And then we've got our Mike, like a hungry dog, playing with great effort and a violent, uncomfortable tackle. Okay, now here's the really fun part about the coverage, right? I love the cloud technique. I feel like cloud is what really makes this whole dime thing work, right? Now, the great thing about the cloud, and even, this guy could be a deep half player, is that it really makes it difficult to throw the gimmies, to throw the 5 yard hitch, to throw the slant, to throw the bubble. If we're disciplined of our disguise, you never really feel comfortable making that play call. And now we're just not giving you a free 5 yard catch and then 4 yard run, and all of a sudden it's 2nd and 5, right? We're just denying those throws by being able to play this technique. So he steps down, which takes away any quick option. He's not running a quick route on this particular one. And now he is the flat player. Now he is looking for a threat to his flat. He's got this player running a crossing route, and that's a situation we're going to win that a lot. Receiver doesn't know he's there. We're just in a great situation. We've got great leverage on the ball. We're breaking on the ball. And that's not necessarily a crushing tackle, but that's a tackle where it's a catch and we got a guy on the ground, right? That's a great win for our defense. And you say, okay, we'll throw it somewhere else. I mean, we're on top up here. We're on top right here, right? We've got a player chasing this flat route right there to the other team's best player. It's a good situation to be in. One more time for good measure. Okay, and now we move into the next game. Okay, so a lot is the same here. One major difference that you will see is that in this game, we did not play with 1 D lineman and 1 linebacker. Instead, we took our linebacker, who really played most of his career. Except for now, we're going to play with our linebacker on the line of scrimmage. And he did play most of his career as a rush player, so this was really easy and natural for us to do. Our opponent in the state championship game ran a lot of deep second exchange where they're pitching the ball back and the guys got it 12, 15 yards deep. We felt like 1 rush player wasn't going to be enough to get it done. So that's sort of a synopsis of why we played this way against these guys in the state championship game. Okay, you can see the play call. Got play call is rock, which means our strong side safety's playing a sky technique. Our weak side's got the corner in a cloud. Strong side corners deep, weak side safety is deep. And, our state championship opponent was more of a threat to run downfield passing concepts, right? And you can see we've kind of created a big box here, right? There is really nowhere to go with the ball. Now, you could challenge him to say, well, he's open, or, maybe if they go post deep out, right, this route might be open. But as I alluded to earlier, you can see quarterback spread back is deep here. Like, these are Herculean throws if he wants to complete them. So we force the dump pass. What we're giving up is that we're a little bit deeper than we would like to be in order to make plays on the dump, but that's the tricky of game planning, right? What are you willing to live with? What are you willing to give up? I've talked about that a lot on this channel. In this game, we felt like we could force dumps, and we felt like we could come from depth, and that we could play with great effort and still be able to survive the down, which in this situation, we do. Let's check out the end zone. All right, we got this 4 DB shell here, right? Who's down? Who's back? Creating a little bit of indecision in the offense. Ball is thrown, right? We call this a partner tackle. It's a day one drill for us, right? My help is 11. 11's help is 3. Force it to your help. We can tackle good players 2-on-1. Okay, we got new coverage. This is our first double cloud. We end up running this a bunch in this game. So what does double cloud mean? Both safeties are going to be our deep half players. Both corners are playing their cloud technique. Now, obviously, this clip probably says more about the rush than it does the coverage, right? But it's all tied, right? Game plan says they're going to run these second exchange clips. We don't think the center can block 2 good rush players, so we're going to get an unblocked guy on the ball. Now he's got to make a play. And listen, plenty of clips in this game where we do not make a play on the spread back. This particular time it worked out. But if we pay attention to the coverage, once again, we're creating this box. And I'll tell you, sort of our normal coverage options against spread teams is really to play 2 under 2 deep. This is really, we're doing the same thing we've been doing all year. We're just doing it from deeper alignments where we're a little bit weaker to the dump game. You can see we're passing off our zones really early in the game. Great play by our rush player to poke the ball out. I think that was 4th down. Great energy from the guys. Ooh, that's what you live for. That's awesome. Okay, we've got our roll coverage. So we see weak side safety, then his sky, strong side corners in his cloud, deep half, deep half. Okay, so there's 2 clips in a row where we're really just bragging on the rush. But you can see the idea. Right, we're on top of the deep threats so that when we force or tip the ball, we're able to make a fair catch and make a big play. I guess the lesson there is who cares what you do in the coverage game if your rush is kicking butt, right? Now, I want to talk a little bit about this cloud technique. So like I mentioned in the semifinal game, snap of the ball. Is there a run threat? No. Okay. Is there a flat threat? No. Right? There's nobody running quickly to the flat. There's no bubble. There's no 2-yard out. So we don't want to just stand up here and sit on the dump game, which is a little sacrilegious coming from me if you know a lot about our defense. In dime, though, in our cloud tech, if you've got nothing to cover, then gain depth. Force him to make that deep out. Force him to make that corner throw over your head. Great. Look how much better this is on a week-to-week basis with our safeties, with our deep half players crossing things off. Right? I'm worried in the semifinal game, this deep half player would have maybe covered this post or deep drag, and then this player could have maybe snuck behind and made a big play. But they've got to be disciplined. They've got to communicate. They got to trust their teammate. And I will say, like I mentioned earlier, we run a lot of this 2 deep, 2 under. This is a lot easier to do when you just start at 12 yards in a pedal. It becomes easier to see the whole picture, to see where your teammates are. And yeah, I mean, you need to trust your teammate, but it's a whole lot easier when you can kind of peek out the corner of your eye and see, oh, okay, my boy is there to take him, right? So by playing with the deeper alignments, we're able to pass things off with more confidence and more efficiency. Let's check this weak side cloud player. He has anything going on? Yeah, he doesn't have a lot going on here. Double cloud. I can talk a little bit more game plan stuff against this team. we were going to run a lot of double cloud when they were in their 2-back set. Now, I've slept about 100 times since we put together the game plan for this team. The only thing I really remember about the game plan is being at the school way too late on a Sunday when I had to teach in the morning. But just as sort of like a glimpse behind the curtain, it was part of the game plan that we were going to run double cloud against 2-back sets. Why? I can't really remember right now, and that's just okay. Another good look by 88 here. Creeps down, no run. Kind of no flat threat. So he drifts to try and shrink this deep out window. You can see they keep coming back to it. And it's hard to blame the coaches, right? Like that is there, but goodness gracious, we are throwing from the 25 to the to the 45. I mean, good luck over a good player and in front of a good player who both see you throwing that ball. And that's that's high risk, medium reward, right? But once again, because we're playing with depth, because we have quarterback eyes, when he throws this little 10-yard option route that kind of drifts outside, we're there on the catch. And that's not fun, right? That's a catch. That's a 10-yard gain. But that doesn't feel good. You're not excited when that ball's in the air. And we're able to get a nice, easy cut tackle here, right? Because that's another element. That's an easy tackle. That's not an open field, chop, 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 watch his hips. That's we are diving at thighs, outside in. It's just a low degree of difficulty, which when you're playing great teams in the state championship game, isn't it nice to have some tackles that are borderline layups? Number 3 is even doing a good job over here, right? Our other cloud corner, no run threat, no immediate flat threat. Yeah, I'd like to see him maybe hug down to the hash a little bit more. You can see he's starting to move that way with the quarterback scramble, but I think a high IQ play would be to already be moving that direction because really my only threat is number 8 over here, who is locked in a war trying to block our rush. Oh man, it's not fun. State championship game kind of created this weird dynamic. They had some success in their 2-back twin stuff. We were just sitting there like, okay, we like double cloud against this. So we end up playing like half the plays of this game were just 2-back twins versus double cloud. And here we go. Let's try and get 15 yards. Well, things to talk about here, right? It reminds me of the semifinal clip. Look at our safety. That's obviously the idea here. Post, pull the safety, wheel. There's no one left, but we have so much depth to where we can just pass it off, no problem. And now we got 2 guys on this dang wheel where they're hoping they get a layup touchdown. And this is a very similar concept, right? We got this 10-yard option route by the center that sort of curls into or turns into an out. And we've got our corner here who just cut tackled that route. But we have depth, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself too much here, but we can see the quarterback. We can really play off of the quarterback's intentions to make this the most difficult throw possible. Okay, so I accidentally included this play. I was reviewing my clips before I started this recording session, and I was like, okay, I guess we can talk about this. So we will not play dime the whole game. There are certain situations, right? In this particular game, it happened to be some 4th and long spots where we're going to put more of our traditional nickel people in the game, right? So this is our Mike linebacker who's been playing rush in our dime defense. But when it got to be 4th down, we were going to put a more normal rush guy. This guy that's already been in the game. And now we're going to play a variation of 2 under, 2 deep, right? Create our box with a different personnel grouping. Now, I don't want to necessarily say the name of this coverage, but you can see this corner's going to play a cloud technique. Our Mike linebacker is going to play this other under half. I mean, it really just kind of turns into double cloud, right? It's just the Mike linebacker that's this under half player. And then we've got he's a corner right now, but he's been a safety the whole game, playing this deep half. And we've got this kid who's been playing deep half the whole game right here. Big 4th and 11. Right, we've got our Mike linebacker in a position where he can make plays versus scramble or dump game. Right, that's one of the big reasons why we like potentially being in nickel spots on 4th and long, because our Mike is typically our best player. And this year, he probably was. Right, they go to more post wheel type of action. It's more like dig wheel. They do get us a little bit more on this one. I think I'm going to lean towards calling that a great play by this corner, but it's an example of our cloud coverage, right? Now notice, well, coach, you're telling me he's in cloud, but he's backing up. Well, here's the deal. We're teaching situational football here, right? We're saying, hey, do we really need you at 4 yards, 5 yards on a cloud technique if it's 4th and long, bud? Well, no, coach, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so just play your normal cloud tech, but do it from as deep as possible. And, honestly, we coverage bust, right? Safety should be trading this off to this corner / half field player. Now he's a little bit tighter because he knows where the first down marker is. Like, this is just one of those tough gray area spots in football. But because our cloud corner's playing depth, because he's playing the situation, he's able to show up and give ourselves a chance on a goal line play here. I'm going to call that clean defense, actually. And creates a pass breakup, a big play state championship game. Right, we're just on top. There's nowhere to go. Great eyes by our safety here, right? Who are your threats? Really, like, who is a threat to go vertical right now? Center is number one now based on game plan, and y'all know this, not every center is a threat to be a vertical threat. But you can see his eyes on the snap of the ball. You can almost feel him looking at 4, but sort of corner of eyeing that number 14, the center. You can see here, number 4 disappears. Okay, what's coming my way? It's number 7, right? It's getting late in the game. They're trying to find deep shots, and we're just on top. Right? It's a frustrating situation for the offense, I should say. Look at the depth here. Look at this box we're creating in our double cloud. Now, once again, 4th and long. Look at 3 and 88's cloud technique here. Now, I will say we're probably yelling on the sideline, don't get beat deep, right? 4th and long, stay on top. So we're playing the deepest possible version of double cloud because of the situation. And what a way to seal the game with a big pick. Love this kid. Had 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in the state championship game. I'm about to show you a lot of crazy clips of him versus the run game. Probably blame a lot of this on desperation, 4th and long late in the game. But our base defense is not as good against this type of stuff as our dime defense is. I think you get the idea. I think that was you get the idea. We're staying on top of routes because of our pre-snap depth. We have a little bit of deceptiveness because you don't know who the under and deep half player is. It could be a cloud corner who's coming in to cut down your dump passes and your crossers, and you're scared to throw hitches and nows because that corner might be at the line of scrimmage on the snap of the ball. On the flip side, we've got safeties with great pre-snap depth. They're trading deep routes off to one another. You're not tricking us with crossers. It puts us in the best position that we could think of for these 2 weeks. Really proud, and I think the thing I'm most proud of in watching these clips is how much better we got at it from our semifinal game to our state championship game. So I'm really proud of that as a coach, as a teacher, that our kids are improving even late in the season. Now, this is the most important part, right? This is the mission objective of running dime defense. Let's stop the pass. But who cares if you can stop the pass if the other team is running all over you, right? So we still have to be able to give ourselves a chance versus the run game in our dime. And those are the clips I'm really excited to show you here. So why don't we just flip over one page and check out some run defense now. Coaches, well, if you know me, you know that run defense is what really gets my chili hot. So I'm excited to check out some run clips here. So first clip here, we got a good example of our cloud technique, and it's going to be by this player on the bottom of the screen. Now you can see him kind of creeping in towards the snap of the ball. That's something that we allowed this past year, and I'm excited to think about that more, kind of weigh some pros and cons. Obviously, we're giving away some of our disguise, but we're able to get there faster in the run game. Pros and cons, right? But really what we're trying to do as a cloud corner is that we're trying to read run pass right off the snap, right? You can see 88 gets a run read his way. Now from there, we want to force the ball inside of number 1, outside of number 2, okay? So this is not a traditional outside of number 1 funnel cover 2 technique. This is more like a trap technique, if you've heard of that before. That's what we're going for here. When inside of 1, outside of 2. And really what we're trying to take advantage of is that receivers are not natural blockers. And even if they are, right, this is not a normal technique for them to see. Especially in this game, they had no idea this was coming. So I really feel like we were able to take advantage of the fact that the receivers are not used to trying to dig out this trapping cloud corner. You can see here, once we get this run read, what 88 does better than any other corner we have is that when he gets run, he just goes, right? Triggering. I'll show you more clips of that later. But, really, the unsung hero of this is probably our rush player, right? We are playing 2-on-2 in the box. Now, if we do a good job, if we can beat blocks or if we can draw a double team like our rush player does here, now we're going to create situations where the ball is going to bounce out to our sky players, our cloud players, and don't forget our middle linebacker here. We'll check this out from the end zone. At the end of the day, the best thing about this play is the fact that the rush draws a double team, and he beats the double team, because that's going to free up our best run defender, our Mike, to be unblocked inside out to the ball. So it did not need the cloud corner on that one. Really, a bunch of the clips we're going to be looking at here are the advantages of the cloud corners. I really think that the run supporting cloud corner is what makes the whole defense go. You can see number 3 is carrying his disguise a little bit better. There's a slight creep, but he's still keeping his depth. Now, what number 3 struggles with that number 88 was better on the last clip is once you get this run read, like I want him to just keep attacking here. Go attack the outside hip of this ball carrier and go get a -10 TFL. Because see, he starts to break down a little early here, which gives him an opportunity to get outran. He gets an opportunity for the blockers to kind of square him up and put a body on him. And ultimately, he's doing his job. And, we don't use the word contain. We use the word force. And to me, force is you are forcing the ball to change direction, whether that be forcing it to cut back or forcing it to bubble around. Both scenarios are fine. In a perfect world, we'd like to keep our helmet outside here and force it back. Now, it's a physical finish. One unintended benefit of this cloud support is at times, if the ball does bounce outside of your cloud force player, this 10 to 12 yard deep safety is sort of in a position where he can just make the corner right. If the corner were to force this back now, we could gain the safety as an extra inside fitter. Or as we see here, because we're coming from depth, even though the ball gets outside of our force player, we can make the corner right, and then we can just we can put an inside-out tackle, which is honestly a pretty easy tackle. I'll skip back here towards the end. Because the runners had to lose a little bit of momentum by going backwards, and now he really only has, 3-4 yards to work, and we've got an unblocked player at the line of scrimmage. These are easy tackles to make, which is really what we're trying to create in our defenses. Another good example of what I was just talking about with the safety. Safety is going to make the corner right. Now, we need to get the corner to go here, right? Look in the backfield. He's got flow his way. He's got run action his way. Even with this creep, he has to win inside of the receiver and set a hard edge right here. You can see the teammates, right? We've got our Mike linebacker playing inside out. I would coach up our rush player. He needs to get flat right here down the line of scrimmage, not running this big 18-wheeler turn here, and he can get more involved in this play. But we get another example of an easy tackle when it does bounce outside the force, and the end zone camera's not great. Sorry about that. And so we've got a roll call. Check. We've got a rock. No, okay, my bad. It is roll. So we got the weak side safety coming down into a sky technique. We've got this strong side corner playing his cloud. And this is actually good scheme by our opponent here, right? They're trying to do a little block and fold here where they're going to take the center to the rush and then fold this H back up here to our Mike, which on paper, going back to the sideline view here, it looks like you're going to have a lot of opportunity to get a nice vertical attack there. Now, one of the great things about this defense, though, is that the run supporters are disguised. Even if they block this perfectly, we've got an outside fitting cloud player right here. We've got our sky support safety coming down into the box once he recognizes it is run. And even this deep half player makes a quick read. and is able to add himself in as well. So pre-snap, it looks like you can't throw the ball. And now post-snap, we've got guys attacking when you commit to run game. Now, the reality is we didn't really need all of that, right? And I want to remind you, part of the reason why this defense is effective is because we felt like we had a dominant rush player. We felt like we had a dominant Mike player. And we knew in 2-on-2 situations, they're going to win a good amount of the time. It's not going to be every time. And do they need to necessarily win every time? I would say no, right? Because we've got the support players, the cloud and the sky coming in to make plays. But your life is going to be way easier if you can get players in these spots that can beat blocks like our number 9, our Mike linebacker does here, right? And we're able to get 2 guys to the ball instead of just our cloud supporting corner. And this is kind of a hilarious clip. It's a good example of when you get that run action, just go, right? Check out our corner. Our corner is, goodness, 5-6 yards deep, gets run action his way, and he makes a 4-5 yard tackle for loss, right? That's insane. But when he sees run, when he reads run, he's all in. He doesn't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Now, one thing that makes this play kind of funny is that they're actually running a pass concept here, right? It's like a double exchange type of look. But we did practice this, and we talked about this in the film room, right? As the corner here, if I get run my way and I discover halfway there that it's pass, it doesn't do us any good to try and, oh, shoot, and try and back out of here to the flat. You thought it was run. It felt like run at the last second. If it looks like pass, just keep coming and turn it into a blitz, right? So we really get a TFL here from our cloud supporting corner. And it's good discipline from our back end, right? They are running routes, and because of our depth, we're able to stay on top. Obviously, our boundary safety gets a little bit hung up on whether it's run or pass. But you can see the deep half players, because really we're in a rock here, right? We've got a sky and we've got a cloud. Our deep half players are doing a great job of playing pass first here. Okay, fast forward a week, and now we are playing in the state championship game. The biggest difference, can't remember if I talked about this in the past reps or not, but we've taken our Mike and played him sort of in a traditional rush spot, and we've still got our regular rush player. But we're still going to be playing rock and roll. We're going to be playing double cloud, not so much double sky in this game for game plan reasons. But first play of the game here, or you can see actually second play of the game, we're in double cloud. And it's a great example by our corner. Once again, winning inside of 1, outside of 2, having an aggressive trigger to make a play in the run game. A lot of juice from the guys. That's awesome. Really good look here by 11 and number 5. They know they're deep half players here in this double cloud. They're almost in sync, right? This makes you feel good as a coach. Pedal. They're playing pass first when they know it's run. This safety's going to make the corner right. Can't really blame him for maybe thinking that ball was going to get outside. And we gain another extra inside fitter in this backside safety. Now, I included this one as sort of a unique opportunity that we had in this game because of our game planning, and we don't really play these guys, so I think it's fine to talk about a little bit. Now, our normal technique for our rush here is to key the near back. So as the near back widens, I widen. Now, the reason that we do that is that, and because most of our coverages, our rush players are our force players, and then we'll be fitting inside with whoever our under half players are. Now, what made this game unique is that we knew anytime they were in a 2-back twin set that we were going to play double cloud. I can't really remember why we were going to do that, but that's what we were going to do. Okay. Now, because number 9 has this force player outside of him, we gave him the freedom to win inside of blocks and sort of become an extra inside fitter. As you can tell here, he might be, I'm not exactly sure who he's thinking he has to block here, but maybe he's expecting number 9 to widen, but we just don't widen, and now we're an inside fitter, outside fitter, and then we've got extra guys coming to play as well. Did not need him on that clip. We haven't had a lot of clips of a sky support player coming down to play the run. One of the downsides to playing a lot of sky where they're looking to run the ball is that typically the offensive player is it's easier to see who the support player is going to be when it's the sky. Now we see once again our corner's not doing our safety any favors here because he's out early. The receiver knows, well, I don't even have to check him, right? The only player that can come down is really going to be the safety, which once again, it's a benefit of why we need to try and keep our pre-snap disguises to create that indecision in the offense. Now, one benefit of playing more sky is that we have, I mean, for us, this is our backup Mike. Our free is really just like a skinny Mike every year. So these are players that have been making plays in the run game all year for us. We just felt like they were also our best deep pass players. But with the more physicality, even though they might be better at getting a body to you, you can see that we have a physicality advantage here because of our personnel. But maybe the biggest lesson to take away from this is that all of this stuff, okay, is it sky? Is it cloud, right? Whatever it may be. All of that is fun to game plan. All of that is fun to teach. What makes the defense go is having guys that can win 2-on-2, 2-on-3s, so that you don't even need these guys, so that they can be so pass first. Look at our deep half guys. Once again, 88 and number 5. They're in a hard pre-snap pedal. They are trusting the rush and the support to do the work for them, right? We don't need them until they know it's run. But this is just us playing good players in a position where they can make scrappy plays like beating cut blocks, getting body on the ball, and giving ourselves a chance. Definitely not the most fundamentally sound tackle of all time, but you can see this corner cloud support was really the difference for us in our dime package. Tricky ways to get unblocked players to the ball, right? Even if this kid was the best blocker in football, that angle is dang near impossible, right? And we've got the safety up here supporting as well. You can also see the Mike playing inside out, right? This is just our classic partner tackle. We're back at the top. Not a lot of clips, but you get the idea. What's the big takeaway here? Playing a player at Mike, a player at rush that can get you through those neutral or even disadvantaged situations. Having the offense be unsure who is it that is a support player. Is it the corner who sort of has the advantage in terms of angle and the kind of the surprise factor? Or is it the safety, right? You're typically better run fitter anyway, coming from more depth than normal, right? But it's just a whole lot to keep in mind here that also because the offense is a little bit scared of us being in cloud, it's hard for them to throw quick game, right? It's hard for them to throw the ball down the field because we've got guys deep and we got guys being disciplined who are comfortable in their zones. So you say, okay, we got to run the ball, but all of a sudden you can't block our best guys, and we just got guys unblocked running scot-free. So the whole idea here is that you sort of flip the tables, and it feels like all of a sudden as a defense you have the advantage in a situation where, at least historically for us, we have not felt that way.
Well, guys, there you go. That's dime defense. And if you'll allow me, let me plug something to you. If you enjoyed me talking about the spread defense that we run, this is really just a variation of our base 2 deep, 2 under coverage, which I go into painstaking detail in my video, Basketball on Grass. I really enjoyed making my offensive video. It's 3.5 hours of me talking blocking rules, which is sort of my other passion in the world of six-man football. But I'm really proud of Basketball on Grass and talking about our philosophy of defending spread offenses in six-man football. I really feel like it's my opportunity to sort of say something unique in the world of football. Like, people know how to block gap scheme, and I don't know, people know how to do reach blocks, and people know about outside fitting and being an inside fitter on the run game. But I feel like spread offenses are so unique that it really does feel like a different sport. So if you enjoyed these concepts I talked about today, they apply directly to the same things I cover in Basketball on Grass. And I really think it's worth checking out if you haven't yet. So I don't know, shoot me a question if you're not sure if it's for you, but I'd love to share that video with you, and the links are down in the description. In other news, if you haven't been keeping up with it, I've started a new podcast called The Six Man Spotlight. I've had on Josh Staniland from the Jayton Jaybirds, and I've had on Kyle Crawford from the Abbott Panthers. And those have been two really great conversations. The feedback has been incredible. And I'm excited for my April release, which is going to have Mike Reed from Gordon on the show talking. So I think you're going to find that really valuable. If you know anything about Coach Reed, he is a blast to talk to, and just his personality really shines through in our conversation. You're going to find it maybe as entertaining as you find it educational. Well, guys, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. It does a lot for the YouTube algorithm to show that people are enjoying my content and want to see more of it. And once again, it's my goal to make this thing as big as I possibly can. If there are 500 six-man football coaches in America, then I want to reach all 500 of them. Not because I've got the best information to share, but because I am sharing information. I feel like it's a great time to be a coach in six-man football, and you guys are what makes it possible. So thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you next time.